Hi everybody, this is Kathlyn Hinesley, and today I'm reading from Welcome to Infinity, Exploring Ancient and Modern Techniques for Collaborating with Otherworldly Beings, which was published in 2002. I wrote it, and I'm reading Chapter 5 to you, Bringing in Spirit Knowledge. This chapter contains about 17 footnotes because it talks about shamanism and it brings in the careful research done by other people on shamanism around the world. So there is a bit of that to listen to, but I strongly encourage you to stick with it because this chapter provides important information for understanding Chapter 7, in which I undertake my own shamanic journey. Okay, bringing in spirit knowledge. People in tribal cultures typically believe that nature is filled with spirits. The spirits of trees, rocks, plants, animals, and mountains are each seen as imbued with a special kind of power. These sacred powers are, according to some native belief systems, intimately linked to creator spirits, or spirit ancestors, who set up the world and bestowed knowledge and traditions to the first humans. Rituals and ceremonies carried out by many native peoples are geared toward the continual renewal of contact and collaboration with these creator spirits, as well as nature spirits and other mystical beings, believed to cohabit the multi-dimensional universe with us. The Pitjantjatjara Aboriginal people, I'm going to spell that for you, the Pitjantjatjara Aboriginal people of Australia believe that their spirit ancestors were responsible for investing everything with spirit energy, which they term Karunpa. They believe that, quote, the spirit ancestors have bestowed their Karunpa upon the rocks, the trees, the plants, the animals, everything is alive and infused with spirit, end quote, footnote 1. So footnote 1 is Anna Voigt and Neville Drury, Wisdom from the Earth, The Living Legacy of the Aboriginal Dreamtime, first published in Australasia in 1997, and it says Australasia in the book, by Simon and Schuster, Australia, first Shambhala edition, Boston Shambhala Publications, Inc., 1998, page 64. According to Australian Aboriginal tradition, quote, these spirit beings not only made everything, they created the sacred teachings of the Dreamtime, the law, they established customs, they taught humans how to hunt, how to dance and perform ceremonies, and they invented languages, quote, footnote 2. Ibid, page 27. The Hopi believe their ancestors came from under the ground, from a lower world, a world now inhabited by the spirits of the deceased. They believe, quote, the two worlds alternate, but are not really separate. They are a continuum. There is a constant reciprocity between them, end quote, footnote 3. So footnote 3 is from Hopi by Suzanne and Jake Page, published by Harry N. Abrams, Inc., New York, copyright 1982, used with permission, all rights reserved, from page 187. Hopi rituals and ceremonies serve to maintain a harmonious balance between the earth and the spirit realm, quote, 7 principal deities, end quote, according to Hopi tradition, quote, possessed the basic power that regulated and sustained life. Some dwelt above, some dwelt in the underworld, end quote, footnote 4. So footnote 4 is Thomas E. Males, Secret Native American Pathways, A Guide to Inner Peace, Tulsa, Council Oak Books, 1997, page 31. Regular ceremonial contact with the spirit realm serves to maintain mutually beneficial relationships with beings that have the power to influence natural phenomena, such as germination, plant growth, and weather in the land of the living. Spiritual forces called kachinas function as liaisons between the spirit realm and the human one. Over 200 different kachinas are associated with specific aspects of nature. Some kachinas are associated with animals and edible plants, while others are seen as representing certain seasons or even sounds. Footnote 5. Ibid, page 87. By personifying specific kachinas in ceremonies, Hopi dancers bring them to life and allow their active participation in the human community. Footnote 6. Ibid, so that was from the same page, page 87. These ceremonies maintain the balance of life that is only possible, according to Hopi belief, through the inclusion of spirit beings and forces in community life. Many tribal belief systems hold that two-way travel between the material and spirit realms is possible for both humans and spirit beings. Human beings are believed to possess a soul, which, when freed from the constraints of the body, is free to travel into other dimensions. Spirit beings are also thought capable of passing through and existing in various dimensions. Spirits may sometimes visit the land of the living and be recognized by individuals who are able to see their spirit forms. Initiating contact with the spirit world on a regular and consistent basis is seen as essential to the survival of the universe as a whole. People are seen as responsible for maintaining contact with the spirits responsible for setting up the world to ensure the continued existence of the forms created by them. It is believed that the spirit realms are populated by beings with access to specific kinds of knowledge and power that can facilitate success in healing, agriculture, hunting, and other human endeavors. Spirit beings may act to heal and protect people or teach them lessons. The art of collecting and interpreting the knowledge and power inherent in the spirit world is typically the responsibility of specially trained individuals. These individuals act as intermediaries between the physical world and the world of spirits. In recent years, these highly skilled metaphysicians, whatever their native titles, have been referred to as shamans by Western scholars. Tribal shamans in areas as diverse as North and South America, Australia, Asia, Siberia, Central America, Africa, and the Arctic have typically borne responsibility for communicating with spirits and visiting their realms on behalf of both individuals and communities. Because they are experts in the art of spirit travel and communication, shamans frequently function as interpreters of dreams and visions, helping to act as filters for symbolic information from the spirit realm that may be too dense for the conscious mind to understand. According to many belief systems, events in the spirit and material realms are not truly separate. Rather, events in the spirit realms create effects in the physical realm and vice versa. Ceremonies are performed in the physical realm in the hope of enhancing communication and facilitating collaboration among the inhabitants of this realm and others. Shamans traditionally assist human communities in dealing with, and when possible, helping to control events in other realms that impact ordinary waking life. It is the duty of shamans to journey to other dimensions to find the causes of human suffering and take actions to alleviate it. In many cultures, a primary occupation of shamans is healing of the sick. Ways of accomplishing this may include the utilization of clairvoyant vision to diagnose the spiritual cause of illness and implement its cure. A shaman's vision may, for example, allow him or her to perceive a patient's sickness as the infestation of a creature which, once discovered, can be more easily removed. And that is footnote 7. An interview with Michael Harner conducted by Gary Doore, and that's spelled D-O-O-R-E, comma, quotation marks, the ancient wisdom in shamanic cultures, end quotation marks, in shamanism, and that's in italics, an expanded view of reality, compiled by Shirley Nicholson, third printing, a Quest original, Wheaton, The Theosophical Publishing House, 1990, page 10. In some instances, shamans may visit other realms to bring back a soul that has been stolen from a patient. Shamans may also serve as advisors on otherworldly phenomena. They may be called upon to assist the dying in preparing for death, or to help the newly departed in becoming acclimated to the death realms. A shaman's ability to communicate with spirits and to free his or her soul from the limitations imposed by the physical body frequently endows him or her with special gifts, such as the ability to communicate telepathically or see into the future. Because of their abilities, shamans are often consulted for advice on practical matters, such as where food can be found. Footnote 8. An interview with Michael Harner, conducted by Gary Doore, The Ancient Wisdom in Shamanic Cultures. And that part, the ancient wisdom in shamanic cultures, was in quotations. In Shamanism, An Expanded View of Reality, page 8. The methods by which individuals are chosen for the shamanic path vary by culture and sometimes by individual circumstance. In some cases, shamans are chosen by residents of the spirit world. Footnote 9. Mircea Eliade. Now, he's very famous. I know a lot of people know how to pronounce his name better than me. His first name is Mircea. That's how the first name is spelled. And I believe I am pronouncing the last one correctly. Eliade. E-L-I-A-D-E. So that's the author of Shamanism, Archaic Techniques of Ecstasy, translated from the French by Willard R. Trask, Bollinger Series. This is in Roman numerals, LXXVI, second printing, Princeton University Press, 1974, page 15. For example, a person may have a dream or vision of spirits, which may then be interpreted as a call to shamanism. In many cultures, visions and communications from the spirit world experienced during illness are perceived as particularly important. People who have become tremendously ill and have recovered are often believed to possess shaman-like power. They have, in a sense, been to the brink of death, and are thus thought to have knowledge of other realms. Because the realms traversed by shamans are filled with spirits of all kinds, both good and evil, appropriate training is provided to ensure that prospective shamans acquire the skills needed to overcome the challenges they are sure to meet. Training can be administered in dreams or visions by spirit entities, taught by humans adept in the metaphysical arts, or by some combination of these methods. Footnote 10. IBID, page 87. A shaman's education must enable him or her to leave the body and travel outside of this dimension, and he or she must be equipped with the knowledge and understanding needed to accomplish this at will. Whether training is given in the material or spirit realms, a portion of it typically involves teaching the shaman to lay aside his or her previous understanding of self and or reality in order to open the way for spiritual understanding that would otherwise be blocked. In Shamans, Healers, and Medicine Men, Holger Kalwiet describes ordeals faced by prospective Yamana medicine men. I'm going to spell that man's name for you because I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Holger is Holger, and the last name is Kalweit. Okay, and I've taken a long quote from him, so as you can see, it's indented here. Okay? This training process is an attempt to shake the daily experience of the apprentice loose from its foundations. All the patterns of action that reinforce stable habits are disrupted. Fasting, motionlessness, continuous monotonous chanting, 3 ellipsis marks, and the long separation from the daily activities of the rest of the tribe can lead the student into a new sphere of consciousness. Footnote 11. From Shamans, Healers, and Medicine Men by Holger Kalweit, translated by Michael H. Cohn, 1987, by Kassel Verlag, and then this name I've got to spell for you, capital G, M, B, capital H, and that goes at the end of Kassel-Verlag, and Company, Munich, translation 1992 by Shambhala Publications, Inc., reprinted by arrangement with Shambhala Publications, Inc., Boston, www.shambhala.com, from page 31. Richard Knoll explains that a variety of methods are used to help the neophyte develop a visionary capacity. Among these, he notes techniques that involve pain, prolonged physical movement or inactivity, exposure to sound, forced wakefulness, and hallucinatory drugs. Footnote 12. Richard Knoll, the presence, and this is in quotations, the presence of spirits in magic and madness, in quotation marks, in Shamanism, an expanded view of reality, compiled by Shirley Nicholson, third printing, a Quest original, Wheaton, The Theosophical Publishing House, 1990, page 49. Bodily deprivation and or torment acts to free the mind from habitual patterns of thought, while strange external stimuli open the consciousness to previously uncharted worlds of thought and feeling. Mary Schmidt points out that training techniques often help to break down expected patterns. Schmidt notes, for example, that initiation rites might include exposure to men in women's clothing. Okay, footnote 13, Mary Schmidt, quotation marks, Crazy Wisdom, the Shaman as Mediator of Realities, end quotation marks, in Shamanism, an expanded view of reality, compiled by Shirley Nicholson, third printing, a Quest original, Wheaton, The Theosophical Publishing House, 1990, page 64. She explains that such techniques assist the neophyte in realizing the mental nature of commonly accepted categories. Okay, footnote 14, IBID, page 65. In this way, training experiences act to free prospective shamans from their previous notions of reality, fostering a potential for less limited experience. Another method for breaking down mental constructs involves helping the prospective shamans to loosen up the concepts he or she clings to with regard to him or herself. Numerous training procedures utilized by older shamans on the material plane and or beings in the spirit realm involve putting the trainee through a kind of ritual death. A neophyte may have an ecstatic experience in which his or her body is disassembled and revived. Footnote 15. Iliad, Shamanism, Archaic Techniques of Ecstasy, page 76. Or training procedures may so debilitate the initiate that he or she is brought to a critical physical state. A training technique used by Eskimos to assist prospective shamans in detaching from the body involves concentrating one's thoughts on the vision of oneself as a skeleton. Quotation marks. In Siberia, reduction to the state of a skeleton is an operation performed by the shaman ancestors or other mythical beings. 4 ellipsis marks, quotation marks. Footnote 16. Iliad, Shamanism, Archaic Techniques of Ecstasy, page 63. In some cultures, elders send young people on vision quests in the hope that messages from the spirit world will be received. Fasting, seclusion, and other methods known to help produce visions are used in the hope of attracting the cooperation of spirits who will teach the neophyte shamanic skills. Those who succeed in meeting spirit guides or have other telling experiences may be given further training in methods of obtaining what Michael Harner calls the shamanic state of consciousness. And then that's abbreviated SSC. So that's the shamanic state of consciousness. Then in brackets, capital SSC. Footnote 17, Michael Harner, The Way of the Shaman, 3rd edition, San Francisco, Harper, San Francisco, a division of HarperCollins Publishers, 1990, page 21. And that's the last footnote in this chapter. Individuals in this state of consciousness are released from all restrictions imposed by the body and are free to engage in magical flight. For ordinary people, the SSC can be reached only in dreams and after death, but for the shaman, it can be accessed at will. In a variety of cultures, shamans learn to use ritual drumming, chanting, dancing, and the impersonation of spirit entities and animals, magical invocations and words, and the singing of special songs to induce the SSC and free themselves from ordinary reality. The shaman makes friends with spirits in other realms, and they play a vital role in his work, assisting him in personal development and in his role as a healer and advisor to community members. The shaman communicates with spirit beings and brings their messages back to community members. Shamans in some societies perform their art in public view. Some may enter trance states and report information gained from their visions and otherworldly travels as they are occurring. Shamans are frequently called upon to serve as a link between this world and the world of perfection intended by the creators, as described in local myths and legends. In some cultures, shamans make journeys to the time of creation and assist in bringing the perfection of this time into the present. All right. Well, that was the end of Chapter 5, Bringing in Spirit Knowledge. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you have not done so already. And thank you very much for listening. Have a wonderful day.